So it was really a saving grace. You know, we would have closed the operation. I'm David Moon. I'm Vice President of Operations for Africa, Middle East and Turkey. I've been with Metso now for some 28 years. So it's a global international company. It's Finnish-based organisation. We truly have the A to Z of mineral processing equipment. In our operation, we have quite a few large manufacturing plants, and one of my manufacturing plants in particular was underperforming when we took a benchmark across the rest of our global operations within the organisation. Trying to determine the root cause of that underperformance, I wasn't having any great success internally with my own people, my own management team. When you're in the woods, you can't see the trees. You know, it's sometimes good to look at it through a different lens, a complete different lens. And it was at that stage that I said we should bring someone in, a turnaround specialist, a production specialist. We should bring someone in to give us an independent opinion of what's happening here. Now, I had some discussions with Gary Wilde on the subject of what we believe to be the initial problems. When we eventually discussed it at length, and we did that by site visit so that I could understand some of the issues firsthand, we went and appraised the situation, and it was only after that initial appraisal and interpretations of the evidence he gathered looking around the operation that he believed that they could put together a winning turnaround game plan. And I appreciated that because the number of consultants I have that sit in front of me and tell me they can do it without even having seen firsthand or witnessed the problems or issues are plentiful. But Gary had the wisdom to say, well, let me go and have a look and understand the problem, and then I'll determine whether I can be of influence or not. So I enjoyed that initial approach. It was quite interesting to see how Gary changed the roadmap to success, having identified different hurdles along the way. And after long consultations with ourselves, we reset targets, we reset milestones, but we also brought in different levels of expertise that we believed were required to make the turnaround that we deemed necessary. So I think he successfully coped with a very, very complex project, one which superficially seemed quite simple, but when we moved into it, deeper into it, we realised it was a very, very complex turnaround project. And he managed that transition from one that he had the all-encompassing skills to overcome to one where he had to solicit support from different areas, more technically orientated areas, to overcome the problems. And of course, ultimately, the overall value we saw at that programme, we were at the stage of contemplating closure, closing that plant, and that would have been the loss of some 300, 400 jobs in a country which can ill afford that level of unemployment. It would have meant that we wouldn't have had that strategic manufacturing capability in this region that we service. So that would have been a very, very sad loss to the organisation. The net result is that we did manage to turn that operation around. We did manage to bring it into competitive levels of cost and efficiency and quality. And now we have that facility and support on our doorstep. So it was really a saving grace. You know, we would have closed the operation. One of the unique things about Gary, and in my opinion, that differentiates him from a lot of the other consultants that try and sell the wares, is that passion, is that commitment. He certainly becomes one of the team. He certainly becomes an extension of your operation. He feels the same pain that you feel. He feels the same gratification when you succeed. So I think passion and industriousness is probably the two biggest assets he has as a differentiation. If I had to look, I've spoke about his intelligence, I've spoke about his passion, his results-orientated drive, but he fulfills all of those with a high level of ethics and a high level of moral commitment as well. I thought I was passionate about my business, but this guy was even more passionate about my business for the period I engaged him. On target setting is quite incredible. You know, people think the sky's the limit, but Gary doesn't see any limits. If we say, Gary, we want to reach the sky, then he looks at the next galaxy. And you know, when you set that extraordinary target, people tend to reach beyond the sky then. They might not reach the next galaxy, but they do tend to reach beyond the sky, so the sky no longer becomes a limit. So Gary's whole philosophy is outperforming those extraordinary targets. You know, if you want to achieve X, let's go for 2X, you know. Let's not settle for X. And it's a refreshing approach. It's a refreshing approach because most consultants, when I talk to them, they try and orientate everything around achieving the target that you're setting. It's quite refreshing to see someone that says, I'll achieve more than the target that you're setting.